Welcome to the School of Professional Design. I'm Donnie Tuttle, your guide to aligning your work with your unique professional design. I'm a professor at the School of Professional Design, and I am here to help you to unlock the professional life that you love and loves you back. So let's get out of the grind and play by your design. In this episode of School of Professional Design, we are going to be talking about people we can't live without. It is the magician, otherwise known as the shaman. These are the purpose bringers, the visionaries, the catalysts, charismatic leaders, the healers, the inventors. The magician, these people are the ones who are not only transforming themselves, but the rest of us. They are helping us to connect meaning and purpose to all of the stuff that we're out there doing. The magicians, again, otherwise known as the shamans, they are one of what we call visionaries. Now, there are four essential personalities in the world that we're talking about here. So each of the four has three personalities within it, and that's visionaries, strategists, connectors, and pioneers. And visionaries are the ones in the group that can see things that no one else can see. They can see the better tomorrow. They can see the place we're trying to get to. They have a belief that steadies the rest of us and helps us to move forward, because here's the truth. As we're out here in this galaxy spinning around on this rock at 24,000 miles per hour, it can be hard to continue doing anything, especially if we feel like there's no meaning or purpose. And that is one of the areas where, and one of the reasons why we should all be so thankful for the magician. Now, I'm using shaman with it. Now, both of these are interchangeable. In Jungian archetypture, they both are representative of the same person. So whichever of those you feel more comfortable labeling yourself as, again, just in terms of talking about your type, take it, whichever one feels better. Magician, shaman, they both work here. The magician, the shaman, is a visionary that sees hidden connections in the world and uses their intuitive and transformative abilities to create results. Magicians, shamans, speak and believe and deal in faith. Faith is something that is not difficult for them. They're able to believe when maybe others are not. They're driven by the desire to make the impossible possible and to inspire others to change and to transform. And so these are often sojourners who are on a journey that never ends. They're on a quest for knowledge. But unlike one of the other people that we mentioned, the sage, unlike the sage, the shaman, the magician, is on a journey to find knowledge for transformation. It's more of a spiritual deal for these people than with the sage. It's really just more about factual stuff. Within the visionaries, there are similarities between the other two visionaries and all of these, and that is the creator, the innocent, and of course the shaman. All visionaries share a focus on future possibilities. They're all great at innovation, at inspiring others. They are the idea people. Now, where they're different, unlike the creator who focuses on tangible creation, the magician, the shaman, is more focused on transformation of the unseen, transformation of self. And a lot of the answers that they find are within. Unlike the innocent or the optimist who relies on simplicity and faith, the magician, the shaman, uses knowledge and intuition to create change. So, really neat and unique group of people we're about to talk about here. If this is you, listen up. I'm going to show you how to be stronger, better, faster, awesomer. If you work with or know or live with this type of personality, I'll give you some things that you can do to make sure that you're communicating with them effectively and not being misunderstood. Tendencies of the magician is they're transformational, they're intuitive, they see the hidden connections and possibilities. They're really good people to pour out your soup with, to share the details of what's happening, because what they can do is they can put things back together and reframe it in a way that helps you to not feel so bad and to see possibilities. It can be said that one of the materials that empowers a shaman magician to work is other people being transparent with issues. Could be business issues, could be personal issues, any of those things, because the shaman, the magician, is able to give meaning. They're even able to connect things that are seen and unseen. So what happens in the physical world is oftentimes for these people related to what's going on internally. These people are great at, if they were pastors or coaches, there is a spiritual element for sure. So they see hidden connections. But that being said, that shaman, the magician, is a people person. They must have people. There are other personality types that don't necessarily require that, but this is a part of your sustenance. It's people who are open and looking for transformation, looking for help, looking for advice. Those are the kind of people that actually release your superpower. You are best. You feel most alive when you're able to bring transformation to others. When you're able to look into something and actually give clarity, and clarity that someone is able to act upon. One of the languages of the shaman is symbology. They can take something and give it meaning. A penny is not just a penny. It might be a trophy for achievement. And also they can find meaning in symbols around you. They focus on creating extraordinary. And when I say extraordinary, extra, beyond ordinary. They are not happy with ordinary. Ordinary is boring. Ordinary is already discovered. Ordinary is not what they are going for. And so be aware of that. The magician, the shaman is, I guess, like, if you look at all the old stories, it's like the wizard, right? They see all the hidden connections in the world, and they weave spells and transform ordinary into extraordinary. They turn pumpkins into carriages and mice into horses. Now, while that might be in the storybooks, their magic lies really in mystery and in translation, in being able to give meaning to things in the internal or things on the external. Perhaps something inside of you wants to rise up in courage, and they may find a lion pin and give it to you. They may tell you that a compass means direction and internal knowledge of identity. They may help you to find solace after a parent has died. And when you see cardinals, they help you to say, hey, this is a symbol of someone watching over you. They're able to, again, speak and encode and decode symbology, which actually is a pretty powerful language. Even if you're in the business world and you think it's not, listen, there are talismans all over the world and things that people will do that help them to do the extraordinary shamans are the ones who are able to almost encode that into items and into us. They are guides that help us believe they possess deep understanding and a wisdom that it's attractive, it's magnetic. And they understand there's something they're able to intuit about what forces are at play. And they're able to use their knowledge to not just create a book, not just give instructions, but to actually bring transformation. And that is the method and the message and the meaning of these people. It is transformation. Transformation to go from one thing and into another. That is the love language of the shaman, the magician. They may be teachers. There are a lot of teachers who have this personality type. And because they get high off of seeing others transform, it's almost like money's nice. But again, it's a byproduct. Now, the goal is, of course, that you're using this in a way that you're able to not have to worry about that as the main means. But listen, I'll show you how you can set yourself up for financial success as well. Tendencies. I think we just went through those. So here is, I guess, some of the examples of magicians might be Nikola Tesla, the guy who invented alternating current. It was an electricity that was, or maybe his was direct current. I can't remember. One of them was alternating current. One was direct current. It was him and Thomas Edison, and they were against each other. And you can see it in movies and documentaries. It's really interesting. But Nikola Tesla wanted to find these hidden secrets and use that for the benefit of all mankind. He had massive vision, one might say, extraordinary. Now, Thomas Edison was the much better businessman because he was not the magician, he was not the shaman, he was creator, the inventor. And there's just more practicality for the creator inventor. There's more practicality than there is here. You might think, of course, directly, go right to the wizards, go to Dumbledore, go to Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings. Like, you'll see this wisdom that's connected to helping others along in their journey. And by the way, that's very indicative of you being a guide to others. I really think that oftentimes I find these people want others to come to them for advice. That's what they want. And so if you're younger and this is who you are, my advice to you right now is go live a magic-filled life. Go do something amazing so that others will come to you, and they will. Okay, and you want to be able to share from your experience of your transformation. In the business world, this could be, by the way, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Elon Musk, Oprah Winfrey. These are people who are saying, hey, whatever we can dream, it's possible. If you can dream it, we can do it. Oddly, by the way, the brand of Disney World and Disneyland, the Disney brand is actually the magician. Walt Disney himself was more the creator, but the brand of the business, if it were a person, it would be a magician. Tendencies here are you're transformational, you're intuitive, you see hidden connections and possibilities. You are always focusing on creating that movement. You're motivated by creating change. And if nothing changes, sometimes, boy, that is purgatory for the magician. And one thing I will tell you, just before we even get into the blind spots and weaknesses, is get used to other people maybe not wanting to change. Be okay with not everything changing. Be okay with degrees of change rather than 180 degrees of change, maybe 2 degrees of change at a time. And become patient. Oftentimes, those who are magicians, shamans, patience is that work that makes perfect here. You might be a rule bender, Inspiring others to take actions. That is a big deal. Gandhi said this. He said, your life is your teaching. And that should be the mantra. That should be the thing that you live by. If you're a shaman, if you're a magician, your life, let your life be your teaching. And inspire others through your actions, not just your words, through your actions. Side note here, I will say that oftentimes shamans, magicians, they're going to, it's almost like their talk is a mile in front of their action. And before you go out there and condemn yourself and say, I talk so much and I just don't know. And well, I don't know why I say these things, but I'm not even doing them yet. It's okay. One of my friends would say, you're the type of person that learns with your mouth open. And so when you say something, a lot of times that wisdom is more for yourself than it is for others. That's a cool thing. Talk about connecting heaven to earth. That's the shaman, the magician. What are they afraid of? And by the way, if you're working with them, understand when we take people into their fear zones, they're going to respond with fight or flight, and you're not going to get the most intelligent, loving, connected, powerful version of them. And so if you understand their fears, you can understand which tripwires to avoid. And if you understand your own fears, you can understand when you might get triggered, and you can hopefully disarm that trigger. Let's look at some of the fears. You fear a failure to achieve real transformation. You fear that you're going to be stuck where you're at right now. You fear that your company is going to be stuck where it's at right now. You fear that you can't get others to the place that you want to get them to, that you can't keep your promise. That's what you're afraid of. Sometimes deep down, you're afraid that what you believed is a lie. You might sometimes have the imposter syndrome, especially if you've been living for others. If you've been working the algorithm of like, what do others want from me? What do others want from me? It's great to serve others, but that's the wrong algorithm, especially for you, because if you're always doing that, you're subject to whether other people approve of you or not. And your work really needs to be different. It needs to flow from your life. And you create power by doing the action first, by eating your own cooking first. And you will never feel inauthentic if you do what you feel is right from your heart. Don't do it because you're getting rewarded by the algorithm. And I'm not just talking about the algorithm of social media, of work and all the different places. Do it because, like in my world, do what God told you to do. Okay? Do what you feel like you were made to do and rest in that. So the fear of being fraudulent and inauthentic is big. And if anyone ever called you, like, you're a fraud, you're a liar, or whatever, that would just feel like the worst thing in the world. I think also to be in a place to where you don't matter, like where no one is seeking you out, that's a painful place. Okay. Losing your intuitive edge. And so if you're someone that feels like, oh my gosh, there's a separation now between me and this place I wanted to be. I was so close to my calling, or I was so close to God, and all of a sudden I messed up this one time and I fell down the ladder, and now I have to start back down at ground zero. That's a fear. I'm not saying it's a logical fear, but you feeling like you're losing your intuitive edge is real. And side note, stay in tune. Stay in tune. Do whatever it takes with your day, with your week, with your process to maintain that at all costs, and knowing that you're afraid of that. I think also being trapped in the mundane. Mundane is a fear of the magician. Mundane where they're not invited to make change. That's where magicians go to die. Strengths, of course, strong innovation, problem-solving abilities, the ability to see and create connections between almost things that seem like they're not even related. It's crazy. And, oh my gosh, there's nobody more charismatic and inspiring than you are. As a matter of fact, you draw from this, like your ability to care and inspire is pretty unique. So you probably are a good orator. Now, some of the skins or personas that you might be wearing the skin of a sage sometimes, where you seem like the smart guy, smart girl, that is you just know more than everyone else. So you may have found and felt that being a know-it-all was a way to protect yourself from really the truth of that faith can feel vulnerable. And so you might pretend to be the know-it-all, or you might pretend to be the hero, where you fight and you seem aggressive, but really you're not. And I will say this, if you're pretending to be the hero and you're really this magician shaman type, you're literally going the opposite direction of your real life energy. You're trying to project this image of aggression and conquering and strength, and the truth is the shaman magician is able to look and say, I see it, and you win. The best way you can win is by seeing, and not by rage and pushing and overpowering. And especially if you're a man or an entrepreneur, it can feel so tempting to just even use, like, there's so much language of conquer, take, push, take what's yours. And that's just not who you are. You are strong when you bring transformation. So don't forget that. You got to keep your edge and help others to transform, help yourself to transform. When you're doing that, you'll feel alive. One of my favorite things I've ever seen happen transformation-wise on a team was I was working with this leader, and he was having a hard time taking action for himself. But we realized that when he did it for others, whether it was to train others, to teach others, to show them the way, to show them that they could do it, if we just had him do that thing, and for him it was recruiting, if he did it in front of other people, he was awesome. His transformation happened when he was able to help others to transform through his action. And so think about that. If there is a way for you to empower your action by doing it in front of others, and even if you don't really have others who are paying attention to you now, you could document whatever you're doing on video. You could do a podcast. You could do something that treats it as though what you're doing is instruction for others to get delivered from whatever it is that you're going through. Utilize that desire to help others to your advantage. Now, some of the weaknesses and blind spots you need to be very aware of is that you may be an overpromiser because you see people struggle. You see that you want them to get to a place, and you see it as possible. And sometimes you underestimate the time, effort, or energy that's going to be involved in the transformation. For you, transformation is easy. For others, not so much. For you, you want to, you, you just want to see this other picture. If you're in sales and you're like, oh, all your copiers are bad, but I'm going to show you how to make them good. And it's just like, it's this alternate dimension that you see. But sometimes it can be an overpromise, because if it's reliant upon you being the person that delivers everything. I was working with someone recently, definitely in this personality type, and she's so brilliant at being able to connect with people and get them to see the picture, the big picture, and be excited about it and to take action towards it. And sometimes, because she's painted such a beautiful picture, she feels the responsibility to show up and be there when the photographers get there or the cleaners get there, or even engaging in some of the work. And sometimes that over-promising, delivering consistently can be a challenge. And if you feel responsible for it all, also so can fatigue. You shamans carry people on your shoulders. You carry others on your shoulders. You carry their worries. You carry their fears. You carry all of that stuff. And that's a good thing, because it's like, hey, you believe us, you trust us, you're connected to us, but you can't carry those things. And your empathy serves you when you're with people. You've got to find a way to not allow it to impact you. as you're moving into regular life, other parts of life. You risk becoming too focused on the big picture and neglecting the details. And so I would say, if possible, outsource the details. You definitely need to outsource the details. You might want to outsource some of the aggressive stuff, the fighting, some of the stuff that requires conflict would be good. You work best in a place of peace. And so if there's anyone else that can take care of your conflict, partner with them, okay? If there's anyone else that you're probably pretty good at the connecting with other, like with other people, but definitely like anything that involves structure or conflict, you might want to find a way to get someone else to do that for you. You also can be perceived of as unrealistic, as overly ambitious, or like by some like holier than thou, or like pie in the sky dreamer, but not just like not dreamer in the good way, but it's like you're so heavenly minded, you're no earthly good. People can see you that way. And so make sure that you connect with tasks. Let your tasks and the things that you do reflect what you believe. If you can do that, that's going to help you. Let your work show your belief. The Bible, it says, faith is seen by the works. Not just alone. So I know you'd like to just keep it alone, but you got to show us through your works, all right? The most native business functions for the shaman is strategic innovation. It's transformational leadership. It's coaching. It's consulting. It's helping people to go from one level to another. That is a good, inspiring teaching, speaking. Okay. In terms of how you manage your time differently, you need to have some time where you're connecting. So have a time set aside daily or weekly where you get to connect with people and inspire them. I had one guy where he started every single day with a compliment to someone on his team. And a year later, his whole organization had changed. It's crazy from that one little action. I would say, let's see. Okay, time. That's where we're at, time. Have a whiteboard time. Have a vision time. Almost all of the visionaries, I would say this, but have a time where you're looking at a plan. Take an hour or two at least every single week and look at it, and then break it down into small actions. Now, what I would do is I would borrow a page from the hero or the ruler and create a to-do list. And during your work time, see if you can get that stuff knocked out. You definitely want to use deadlines. And because if you don't, I would say this, you're probably a really good starter and not a very good finisher in terms of your own projects. So if you have something that involves the good of other people, or you're doing this for other people, or you're going to get it done for other people, that's a way that you can keep progress happening. In terms of relationships, you probably need to be mentoring people. So find out always at least one person you can mentor. If you're leading a team, use vision. Use vision. It's your strength. Talk to us about vision every other day, every week, all the time. We can't get enough of it. You might think we get enough of it. We can't get enough of it. Okay? Have an environment that has collaboration and innovative thinking. And I would say any of the boiler room type of harsh mentality, it's like you need to have some of that in your life, but you can't have, you have to have protected time away from that structure or aggression. Again, to be able to think. I would set flexible goals, and I would have someone with me regularly reviewing progress. Now, I would say this. You're probably a coach, or you're probably someone who's leading other people. You need to get that for yourself. Okay, every coach needs a coach. Every shaman needs a shaman, so to speak. Every preacher needs a preacher. You need someone that's doing the same thing for you that you're doing for others. And so that's something that I would do as well. So for you, I would say, as long as to keep a sense of purpose, just having a sense of impact on others, having the ability to create transformation, hopefully with people, because you're about the internal, personal impact, change, influence, impact, power. And not power like to have what you want, but power to help people to create a new situation for themselves. Celebrate the journey. Celebrate a step in innovation. Celebrate wins with people. Find a way to give people high fives all the time and let yourself feel their victory. That's going to fill up your sails so you can approach your day with vim and vigor. Their victory is partly yours. And just, I would say, to avoid misunderstanding, just communicate clearly. Try to use as few words as possible. Communicate often. Ask more than you tell. Let others force others to create stories. When you share, use stories to share. Use your passion. Don't ever back down from being passionate. You're going to feel like you should, but don't. You got to keep that. Okay? And just stay as the visionary that you are. You are an important part of any business strategy. You're an important part of the professional world. You're an important part of just the regular world. We need your magic. We need to be equipped for transformation. We need you to translate what's happening around us so that we don't give up, we don't quit, and we don't find that this whole thing is meaningless. We're not walking around with our head down because you have spoken life into us. I'm going to ask you, of the visionary class, you magician, you shaman, go out there and create something good today. My hope is to encourage you to look, to think. You be you, my friend. Take that gift, shine it up, bring it to the world because we need your magic. Before you go, I have a question for you. Are you tired of feeling like you're just not effective, like you know there's something more in you? Listen, you're not weird. You're just alone. And we all need someone to simplify things. That's exactly what I do for free in the Powerful Peak Performance Masterclass. And I'm inviting you right now to go to schoolofprofessionaldesign.com/now, and I'll show you how to generate peak performance from your unique identity, how to create unstoppable vision, and take bold action. Start bringing 100% of yourself into your life and make your life your master work. I'll see you there. It's free. schoolofprofessionaldesign.com/now.